6, New Orleans' very own.
Welcome to WGNO News at 6. I'm Brittany Dixon, filling in for Susan Rosejohn.
And I'm Kurt Sprang. We want to start with some severe weather in our area.
A tornado warning just issued in Lafourche Parish. WGNO meteorologist Brantley Kike is here, keeping tabs on the storms. Brantley?
Yeah, Brittany and Kurt, we are looking right now at a severe thunderstorm warning close to the Gulf Coast for portions of Lafourche Parish. Now a tornado warning on top of that as well, going until 6:30 this evening. This severe thunderstorm also producing golf ball size hail. So we have that wind threat, a hail threat, and now a tornado threat as well. You can see here on the radar, it's starting to get that hook shape, a clear indication that this system is a severe storm. As it continues to move farther south, we're going to be watching the velocity map here to see exactly where that spin is. Where we have the green color interacting with this red, that's where we start to see the wind spinning around each other. So we have the green moving towards the radar site in Slidell, the red color moving away from it. Anytime you have a different direction there for the wind speeds, that's an indication that we are seeing some sort of rotation. So we are seeing that rotation signature there right now. The storm is located over Galliano, but it's expected to move towards the south and southeast very slowly here over the next 15 minutes. We should see this near Golden Meadow by about 6:15. So of course, if you're in these warned areas, you want to be seeking shelter on the lowest level of your home or building, away from doors and windows. The goal here is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And of course, you want to protect your head and neck from flying debris. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 as well. On top of this, for a slightly larger area, you can see on our hail tracker here, these brighter shades of pink and red, indicating where we have the best chance to see that hail. That's going to keep moving south as well towards Golden Meadow and eventually Leeville. We could see anywhere from dime size hail up to golf ball size hail with this system. Some areas seeing golf ball size hail already. We're getting a couple reports in from that. So we have the hail threat, the wind threat, and of course that tornado warning continuing until 6:30. So about another 10 to 15 minutes before we see this move towards Golden Meadow. Of course, if you're in those areas, advise to seek shelter right now. And as we get more updates for you throughout this newscast, we'll come back on and let you guys know.
All right, we'll check back with you. Thank you, Brantley.
The NOPD consent decree monitoring team is now focusing their eyes on the investigation into Officer Jeffrey Vappy.
Vappy is being investigated for his role as on American Trail's executive protection detail. WGNO's Jordan Lippincott joins us with the latest. Jordan.
Kurt, Brittany, members of the monitoring team as well as representatives for NOPD and the city of New Orleans were all present in the courtroom today. The lead monitor said his team analyzed the PIB's report on the investigation into Officer Vappy and prepared a series of recommendations. Monitors said NOPD failed to respond to the recommendations because they said they didn't legally need to, and that the PIB's investigation was not a serious misconduct complaint. An attorney representing NOPD said bodyguard duties don't fall under the consent decree. The attorney also read sworn testimony from an NOPD officer, which read investigators felt pressure from the monitors for a specific outcome, and the attorney alluded to political reasons. Ahead of the hearing, we asked Mayor Latoya Cantrell what she thought about the consent decree hearing, and she said she believed monitors were biased.
Let's stay in our lanes. Let's focus on the consent decree and make sure that the city of New Orleans satisfies it based on the work of the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department. I think we'll be further along, not only with recruitment practices, momentum, as it relates to the city of New Orleans and our police officers.
A hearing is scheduled for next week, and the judge said she hopes to hear from NOPD instead of hearing witness testimony. Reporting in front of the federal courthouse, back to you all in the studio.
Jordan Lippincott live downtown. Thank you, Jordan.
If you find yourself confronted by criminals, do you fight back or run? That's the situation a local bar worker faced this week.
WGNO's Kenny Lopez looks at the benefit or risk of making that instant decision. Kenny.
That's right, Kurt and Brittany. Igor's bar here was faced with that decision, whether to fight back or not. But crime experts say that it's best when you make that decision to make it a smart one.
I was shocked to hear about what happened.
It's unusually quiet at Igor's Bar on St. Charles Avenue.
It shows people are afraid to come to the bar.
On Monday night, police say 2 armed robbers demanded money from one employee who complied, but other employees got involved and a fight broke out. Then the suspect's gun went off. The suspects then ran away. Luckily, no one was injured. Now this brings up the important question as to when or if citizens not trained in law enforcement should get involved or not.
And the victims of that armed robbery were able to overpower the suspect that was wielding a gun and demanding their property. And their use of force is permissible under Louisiana law. If you're faced with a life or death situation, you need to make that split-second decision as to what you should do to defend yourself.
While in that situation, self-defense was justifiable, Rafael Goyeneche with the Metropolitan Crime Commission says in another recent incident this week, the law is pretty clear. On Shirley Drive in Algiers, Reginald Charles was arrested after police say he fired 2 shots at 2 teens who were trying to steal his wife's car.
Property offenses like theft do not qualify for the utilization of deadly force. So if the police made an arrest of the car owner for using deadly force, they believe that there was probable cause, a reasonable suspicion that he had committed a violation of Louisiana law.
Mayor LaToya Cantrell weighed in, saying leave it to the true crime fighters.
Don't take it into your own hands because it could mean life or death. If residents want to take these things into their own hands, join the New Orleans Police Department. We're hiring.
Now, it's been a tough year for Igors. Earlier this year, they were robbed at gunpoint twice. In both those incidents, the criminals were able to get away with all the money. Kurt, Brittany, back to you.
And the mayor says, yeah, you want to fight crime? Join the NOPD. Interesting. Thanks, Kenny.
A former JPSO deputy and sheriff candidate has been convicted of second-degree rape. Joey Istre faces up to 40 years in prison after the 5-day trial in St. Bernard Parish. Attorney General Jeff Landry released a statement thanking multiple victims for coming forward. He says he's looking forward to prosecuting the former cop in Bossier Parish. Istre will be sentenced in August. And we're learning more about the woman who was shot last night in New Orleans East. Mayor Cantrell says the woman is pregnant. The shooting happened in the 4600 block of Redwood Street. Police say 4 men jumped out of a vehicle and shot at her boyfriend. The woman was wounded and taken to the hospital. Cantrell says the woman and baby are doing okay. Detectives are still searching for the 4 suspects and a gray Dodge Durango that may have been involved.
And the mayor is responding to criticism that gun arrests rarely lead to more jail time. She says that's a negative spin on positive statistics. The NOPD has increased its enforcement of minor weapons offenses. According to data from last year, 240 people were arrested for concealed carry violations, but more than 70% have not been prosecuted. Cantrell says finding and seizing those guns is a big part of the overall decline in violent crime.
I talked about the gun seizures, and then I also kind of picked back up in terms of some things that were floating around, I would say, in the media in terms of if that was a negative against the work of the New Orleans Police Department regarding these gun seizures, meaning the minor offenses. What we believe is that if we get it early, meaning in minor, it will not escalate. And that's how we're focusing on this.
And the mayor also commented on the superintendent search. She says she should have an update as early as Friday.
A Dollar Tree employee is under arrest, accused of setting a fire in the store. According to the New Orleans Fire Department, flames broke out at the Algiers business in the 3700 block of General de Gaulle Drive earlier this month. They say after reviewing the surveillance cameras, they confirmed the alleged arsonist was employee Ron McRue, and they discovered he did the same thing the day before. Jefferson Parish deputies took him into custody when he went into work at the Gretna location yesterday.
Animal welfare advocates are reminding people to protect their pets from the heat. Hear the punishment you could face for leaving a pet in your car.
And an exclusive interview with Nord and Irvin Mayfield, how they formed a partnership for a new music program.